Breathe. So, the Overwatch League has released its fixture schedule pretty much for the rest of the season. I thought it was only for the rest of July and kind of sneaking into August, because there's going to be another tournament after this tournament is finished, the Summer Showdown, which by the time this video goes out, that tournament has finished. So there'll be a week's break, and then we'll have another 3 weeks of fixtures. Then there'll be a tournament, and then we'll have 2 final weeks of fixtures where we will round out the regular season before we go into the play-ins and playoffs at the end of the season. So, that final 2 weeks have been added on to the end of the season, week 28 and week 29. And everything was fine. And then I saw the fixtures and I was like, Overwatch League, what have you done? This doesn't make any sense. So, let's talk through it, shall we? There are 4 teams that I think have been cucked by the Overwatch League big time during these 2 weeks. So, in week 28, we'll actually see something crazy like 13 fixtures. They will bridge a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But in week 28, London Spitfire, Seoul Dynasty, and the Vancouver Titans will have to play 3 fixtures in 1 week, which seems very, very odd. In week 29, all of those 3 teams will also have to play 2 matches that week as well. And the Gladiators, the Los Angeles Gladiators, will have to play 3 fixtures in that week, having played 2 in week 28. This doesn't make any sense. So 4 teams are going to play 5 fixtures in 2 weeks. That doesn't seem like it makes scheduling sense. And the reason I say this is because previous weeks, and I'm going to take examples here. So back in June, week 19, I should say, we had an extremely short week where London played once, Seoul played once, and Vancouver played once. So, question, why couldn't they play again? London and Seoul could have played. They could have played each other, in fact. And this is another thing as well. So, London and Seoul haven't played each other in the regular season yet. We've just seen them play each other in the Summer Showdown. London and Seoul will take each other on 3 times in 2 weeks. Which seems very, very odd. Because why not intelligently spread these fixtures out? London have played Chengdu a fair few times in the past couple of months. So why not swap one of these Chengdu and Seoul fixtures and have a more balanced fixture list? Just for perspective, London have to play Seoul, Shanghai, and Seoul in week 28, and they have to play New York and Seoul in week 29. Yeah, that's rough. But Gladiators will have to play the Florida Mayhem, the Atlanta Reign, and the Los Angeles Valiant all in 1 week. The Vancouver Titans will have to play the Atlanta Reign, Dallas Fuel, and the Florida Mayhem in 1 week. And Seoul will obviously have to play London, New York, and London in 1 week, while taking on Hangzhou and London again, obviously, in week 29. It all seems like the league has... We've been kind of like going along all hunky-dory for a while, and they've been like really happy with this format, and then they've got to the end of this week 27 tournament, whatever it's going to be, and they've looked at it and said, oh, bugger. There's a bunch of fixtures that we need to cram in 2 weeks. Well, let's get them in there, cram them in, when they haven't actually thought about it across the whole season. I am aware, obviously, of the COVID-19 problems that have been caused to the Overwatch League this season, but these fixtures have been planned after that. There have been plenty of opportunities since all of the teams have returned to regular play, where these matches could have been spread out much more evenly. Many weeks where London, Seoul, Vancouver, and the Gladiators have only played once. Or maybe not at all. So, why on earth have they been dealt such a difficult blow in the 2 weeks leading to the end of the season? It really doesn't make much sense. So, I'd like to know why, to be quite honest. There are tons of weeks where we can take examples Week 21, London only played one match. They beat the Hangzhou Spark 3-0. Why did they not have another match attached at that point where they could have spread it out more? I also mentioned obviously week 19 where they literally could have played Seoul because both of those teams only played one match. In May, there's also opportunities. So Spitfire didn't come in until a little bit late, but Seoul, again, only played one match in week 14. They could have played a match there. They also only played one match in week 15, so they could have played a match there. It's a very odd schedule that the Overwatch League has planned here. And then I move to the fixtures that they have planned for week 24, 25 and 26, which will take place after the Summer Showdown. This will lead us up to the last mini tournament, shall we say. And in all of these weeks, London only play one match. In 2 of these weeks of the 3, Seoul only play one match. And in all of the weeks, in 2 of the weeks out of the 3 as well, Vancouver only play one match. And the Gladiators play one match in week 24, 2 matches in week 25, and 1 match in week 26. So why were the fixtures that have been crammed into week 28 and week 29 not more evenly spread out? There doesn't seem like there is a sensible reason for them to be so hemmed in. I don't believe there was a need for any Overwatch League team. Yes, we know the problems COVID has caused. We know that London Spitfire took a little longer to come back than other teams did. We know that Vancouver Titans messed around going from Korea and back to NA and all their roster problems. Los Angeles Gladiators haven't had a problem, so I don't know what's going on there. And Seoul Dynasty, yeah, they were a little bit slow. But I don't believe there is any feasible reason for a team to be playing 3 fixtures in 1 week. And that is what we have got here with London Spitfire, Seoul Dynasty, Vancouver Titans, and the Los Angeles Gladiators. When you look at these week 24, 25, and 26 fixtures, they could have had 1 fixture added on to one of those weeks at least, if not 2 of them. And then when you go back to weeks that we've already had taken place, there have been opportunities for these matches to be caught up in a more sensible fashion. And let's be honest, the league is always worried about player burnout. Well, you are forcing those teams to now play 3 matches in a week, when I really don't think it was needed. So I just wanted to raise some issues I have with the fixture schedule that has been announced for the rest of the season. I also have, and this is going to be a completely separate video, probably after the season, probably. But I also have some slight reservations about this tournament format that they've been following as well. But again, that's not for this video. This is a pure video talking about this fixture schedule and why it is so just bizarre and bonkers. I have looked at this schedule and haven't found any other teams that are affected. It's just these 4. I think it's weirdest for the Gladiators because the Gladiators have not been affected as much as the other 3 teams have. I could have understood perhaps if it was just Vancouver because of their roster issues and stuff like that, but I don't believe there is a need for any of these teams to play 3 matches in a week, especially so close to the end of the season. I think that is pretty bonkers, and I think some teams may suffer because of it. I'm not going to lie. Preparing for 2 matches in a week can be tough a lot of the time. We've seen a lot of teams in some instances falter against a team you don't expect them to falter against because they've been concentrating on another match, and that's understandable. But when you have to prepare for 3 matches in 1 week, all of a sudden things get crazy. And it's not a great look. I'm not going to lie. And there's also the issue of, and this mainly affects the Spitfire and Seoul Dynasty, where they did not have to take each other on 3 times in 2 weeks. There is just no need for that from what I can see. These matches could have been more evenly spread across the fixtures we've had since the league recommenced, and since these teams came back to regular play when it was all converted to an online format. I think it could have been much more evenly spread out, and I think this has been a major scheduling mishap from the Overwatch League. A major scheduling mishap. And I hope they learn from it, because this is not great. This is not great, I'm not going to lie. I mean, when you look at it, in week 28, if those matches go to distance, Seoul, London and Vancouver could technically play 15 maps in a weekend. And it could be more if there were draws in the matches. Same goes for the Gladiators in week 29. Is that right? Is that fair? That is what you guys can answer in the comments if you want to. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on it. I'd love to know you guys' opinion on it, because this just seemed a little crazy and a little bonkers to me when I saw this. Especially when you look, I can understand if it was absolutely jam-packed and there was literally no other option, but there seems like there's been a lot of options, and the league has just not done their homework and not done their sensible, well, we've got this many weeks left in the season, we've got this many games to play, let's evenly divide them out over the rest of the season, shall we? It doesn't seem like they've done that. They seem like they've almost like a child rushing to do his homework because it's almost late. That's what I would say. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you'd like to, give a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.